World famous KROQ, Kevan Kenney. Let's introduce myself first. And Bakar is in the house.
Yes.
And you don't do a ton of live radio, so we're very grateful you're here today.
I don't. But I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I think that's kind of a baller way to go about it, though, is you have a song that's inescapable on the radio, but you yourself don't do a lot of radio.
Yeah, I mean, that is great. Yeah, it's great if it happens like that. But we got to do the work too, so.
You know what? I'm so happy that you sound just like you do on the record, because your vocal is one of my favorite parts about the music. It's just so interesting, and it cuts through immediately, and you sound just like it. Let's just go back, because Nobody's Home's the new album we're going to really dive into and play some new music off of. And but let's go back to 2019, 2020 when Hellenbach was going crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm always curious, when a song, I get it once it's done and, and the world gets it. And there's songs that put you in a very specific setting. And that song, it's like, I'm on like PCH, it's dusk, it's like the most beautiful night out, and the windows are down, you're just cruising. I'm always curious, how does that setting compare to where you made it?
Well, I made it just off the PCH.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you messing with me?
I made it out here.
We just met. Don't mess with me.
No, I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you felt like that, because I made it just off the PCH. And the video is filmed just off the PCH. The video is filmed,
really?
Yeah, like I recorded the song about 6 p.m. in Malibu, in a studio in Malibu. I don't know if I should say the name, but a very well-known studio in Malibu that loads of legendary stuff has happened at. And then I recorded it there, and at about 6 p.m. in the evening, and at about 4 a.m. I filmed the video when the sun was coming up.
The same day?
The same night, yeah.
Oh, wow.
On the beach.
So are you an artist that's heavily influenced by your surroundings, where like, if you are in Malibu, you're going to make a song that kind of feels like that, versus if you're back in London, maybe it'll be a different vibe?
I think naturally that happens. It's not really a thought process, but I think, things are going to take their toll on you, aka like your surroundings and stuff. So,
right on.
So yeah, I think it seeped into the vibe of the song.
Yeah, totally. All right, well, let's play Hellenbach right now, and you're armed with all that knowledge listening to KROQ, and how cool is that? We'll also dive into the new record, Nobody's Home. I want to know where you made that. But here's Hellenbach with Bakar live on KROQ. Bakar live in studio, celebrating Nobody's Home, the new album that is out and available everywhere now.
Come on.
And we were just playing Hellenbach before, and you're telling us that beautiful story of making it out in Malibu. But I wanted to get back to step one right now. You're from the UK.
I am.
And you had an interesting trajectory, if I'm to believe your press release, Bakar, is that you started as a hip-hop fan, but then you had this like awakening with indie rock later on in your upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a fan. I'm a fan of music, period. So like, genre has never really been a thing for me. But yeah, like naturally being an inner city kid, I grew up listening to grime, hip hop, R&B. Those are the things I grew up on originally. Black music, do you know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to mostly black music, and then even though rock and roll is the same thing, but yeah, it took me a little bit later to get into that.
So what? I'm so fascinated with this, because in the States, like growing up in like the mid to late 2000s, I had the reverse trajectory where I was a rock fan, and then hip hop just became so interesting in terms of the production and in terms of everything that brought to the table. It was just so much more complex than what rock was doing at the time.
Yes.
And like the Lil Waynes and the hot new hip hops and dap hips of the world like stole me away.
Yeah.
You had the opposite interaction or trajectory. So what was that indie rock awakening for you? Like, was there?
I think the first thing, it was like I was at school, and then I had a really good friend, and his older brother would put us onto a lot of music, and he would play a lot of Chili Peppers, and the lead was just rapping to me. Like it sounded like he was just rapping to me. So I was like, I understood this, and also the melodies turned me on at the same time. So I was like, there was like this thing that was happening in my brain that was just like understanding this music. And then I was getting more into it, and then at the same time I was discovering bands like Arctic Monkeys and Block Party. And to me, Arctic Monkeys were doing exactly the same thing, but just with a British accent.
Yeah.
I think Alex Turner was doing exactly the same thing, but in a British cadence, in a northern cadence. So it just all started making sense to me now, and then I just liked it. Yeah.
And then it was soon thereafter that you started making your own music.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was a little while after that, but everything was just forming together. Yeah, everything was just forming, and I think for me, more than anything, it was like knowing that when I did make music, or when I did attempt, because I would always be around musicians in studios and stuff before I actually made the leap myself. So it was more me knowing, like, when I do this, I want to do it a bit different.
And when you started putting out music for the first time, you actually did it anonymously?
I did, yeah, on SoundCloud.
So why was that? Were you afraid of people judging you, or like why no name? Why didn't you put your face out there at first?
Probably, maybe you could say that. But at the time, I masked it as a social experiment. Like, it was like, I wonder what this will do. But also at this time, I was having a great time in life. But already, you know what I mean? I already fancied myself as a bit of a like person already at that moment. Yeah, so for me it was just fun. So it was just fun, and I just wanted to see what would happen.
Totally. Well, it obviously had success. How did you find the confidence to, or what was the moment where you go, you know what, I want to put my name out there. I want to put my face out there. I don't want to be anonymous anymore.
I think I just made a song that I was like really proud of. It was called Sharing is Caring, and then I was just like, you know what, I just got to do this. Because also like I already had a little bit in London anyway. I already had a little bit of a following and stuff on like different platforms and stuff, and people already knew me and stuff like that. So people trusted my taste in music because I would always be around good musicians,
right?
Already in my city, they would be my friends, or do you know what I mean, whether it be bands, producers, rappers, whatever, they would be my friends already. So I think people trusted my taste in music. That's why I did the anonymous thing, and I was like, oh, if I push this thing anonymously, people will listen, and if it's good enough, people will like it. And people were liking it.
Yeah.
Like it was getting loads of plays.
Yeah, they're still liking it. Not to break the news to you, but we got more with Bakar live all hour here on KROQ. Bakar is live in studio celebrating the release of Nobody's Home.
Yep.
Can we get some round of applause from our studio audience?
Thank you. You're far too kind.
We were just talking off air about Rick Rubin and just your reverence for him. He, of course, did Californication, that album, and that song that we just listened to, Scar Tissue. Yeah. What do you love so much about Rick?
I love that he's genreless. That's the biggest thing. I love that his music has no boundaries. He doesn't see genre. It's feeling always. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. Like there's many nuances to what he does, but that's the overall thing that I love.
And you guys have communicated? You've like crossed paths, I guess, through portals, you said?
Yes. I mean, he's told people that he loved my project Bad Kid.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that, yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And you have some like really, really famous fans. Elton John is a fan of yours.
Elton showed a lot of love. And yeah, he's a British legend, so I'm grateful that Elton even heard my song. And he actually, when he played it on his radio station, he sang along to the song. Yeah, and so yeah.
Was that Hell and Back? Was that Sharing is Caring?
No, that was a song I had called Million Miles. This was
you got so many songs, man.
This was pre Hell and Back. I actually don't have a lot of songs. I need more songs. But I had a project called Bad Kid, and on that was a song called Million Miles, and yeah, that's the song he sang along to on the radio live.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you've already mentioned, the friendship you've had with Skepta, and Skepta just, such an icon in the world of UK music and really world music.
Yeah.
And he's been a big fan of yours as well.
Yes, Skep. He's just been a guy that showed me a lot of the gems that a lot of people don't show you. So yeah, I'm grateful to have the relationship I have with him.
Has there ever been anybody that you just has meant more to you, maybe personally, just because of your reverence for their work, that has told you that they're a fan?
Probably Skep.
Yeah,
probably Skep, just because he's a legend in my city, and he showed me a lot. And he navigated the game in such a way that was so admirable, and he did everything but to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have more with Bakar coming up in the hour. There's a couple cool fashion collabs I want to talk to about. You've actually also gifted me a very cool hoodie. We'll show them on social. Rare. We have the video cameras out
very
at KROQ.
Rare hoodie.
Very rare. Yeah. I feel I don't even know if I deserve, but it's very cool stuff. And then we'll also play a record off of the new album Nobody's Home. We're listening to KROQ with Bakar live in studio. Bakar's here, by the way. I should reintroduce Bakar.
Yes. Thank you.
Thunderous applause.
Thank you.
So that's actually a really nice, sort of like a bridge point, because you did your last record right there in Malibu, as Incubus did back in the day. Yes. And then the new record that just came out on February 25th, you did in London because of lockdown. It's called Nobody's Home. It's out now.
Yes.
And we're going to play, just to be nice to you, one song in the entire album that makes you nervous.
Yeah, it did. This song did. It made me insecure, this song, yeah.
Why do you think that was? You were self-conscious, you were saying.
I was self-conscious about it, yeah. It was the one song, it was one of the older songs from the record. It was one of the first ones I made, and I don't know what it was about it. I did loads of, and it's one of the only songs on this record, I did loads of different verses for this song. Like, I did a lot of different verses. I had different versions. And there was a really close friend of mine who did not like the song.
Somebody you trusted.
Someone I trust.
And they just didn't vibe with it.
I really trust. And they didn't like it. They told me that it was the song they didn't like the most from the record.
Now, as an artist, when you keep redoing a song, is that a good sign, a bad sign? Is that nothing to read into?
I think for the purpose of this song, it was a good thing. Because in hindsight, listening back to the song as it is, it's a better song because of it.
Okay.
And the things I'm talking about in the verses. The chorus was always the chorus. But the things I'm talking about in the verses are more current, more up to date. And yeah, I think you should push yourself sometimes. You know, I used to be really married to verses. I used to not ever want to re-record anything. And so, but that was me in my comfort zone. And so the more you can get outside of your comfort zone, I think the better.
Right. And
this song made me do that. And so like, even though the song was one of the oldest songs on the record, actually the verses are the first verse on this is the last thing I did for the record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And I don't believe KROQ has played this song, have we? I'm looking at the label over here.
They need to
All right,
start
so
playing
for the first time ever on the world famous KROQ, this is free from Bakar. You've also done some very, very cool things I want to talk about before we let you out of here right now in a few minutes, is these collaborations. You and Virgil, I guess, collabed on your vinyl.
We did, yes, we did. It wasn't actually a vinyl, it was a CD. It's going to come out soon, yeah.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It was very emotional, but it was amazing because we started the ideas while he was alive and we finished them while he wasn't alive. So it was a very weird process.
Yeah, that'll be really special once that's out. And then you are working with Stussy.
Stussy family, tribe.
And then I know if you're listening on KROQ right now.
Wait, no, let's talk more about Virgil though. You can't just bring up Virgil.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, it sounded a little personal. So
it's super personal, but we can't just go over him. Yeah, ask whatever you want.
Well, how do you meet Virgil? Do you guys develop an affinity?
Virgil for a friend who was super close with him, and he had sent Virgil like Bad Kid before it came out, and then like Virgil emailed me and was like, yo, this is insane, because he just got it. He knew like what I was trying to do straight away. He was like, I see what you're trying to do. This is amazing. Come walk the first Louis Vuitton show that I'm ever gonna do. And so yeah, that's how we bonded. And then when I went to Paris, he was playing the project in the office, like the Louis Vuitton office, the whole time.
Wow.
Like and everyone was in there. Like Kid Cudi was in there, Mostef was in there. Like everyone was in there. Like, and he was just playing it off the speakers, like non-stop, on repeat, back to front. And so yeah, that's how I met Virgil.
And then what was the concept when you guys started talking about the CD?
The concept was like, he's always been involved in so many things in my life. So when I was gonna make an album, it was like, he has to be involved. So that was basically the concept. It wasn't really that, it wasn't like a great thought process. I was like, what do you want to do for the album? That was like the question. What do you want to do for the album? He was like, I want to do my own vinyl. I was like, okay, cool. Then he was like, oh, Stussy, you're doing a vinyl? I don't want to do a vinyl anymore. I want to do a CD. Typical Virgil shit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do what the next person's doing. Let me do a CD. So we developed a CD.
Now, is that out? Is that something?
No, it's not out. It's going to come out soon.
Okay.
Because we had to get it right.
Yeah, of course.
Post in passing, it was like, okay, if I'm going to put this out, it needs to be exactly how he wanted it to be. So it took a long time to get that because he's a genius.
Have you landed on something?
Yeah, we landed on it.
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
Got there and his family are happy with it. We're happy with it. So yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, maybe before the El Rey show on May 1st, maybe it'll be out in the world?
No, hopefully. Well, by that time it'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah. And people can buy it because his ethos was he wanted everyone to have everything.
Right.
His thing was never no elitist vibes. Never know, like, he wanted everyone to have everything. He was doing everything for the kids.
Yeah.
So we want the kids to be able to have the product that we made with him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's special, man. That's really beautiful. I just want to show off this hoodie for anyone watching online.
And the Stussy shit is cool too.
But this is really cool. We can say the S word, Stussy. No, you're good.
Stussy.
You're good. This is beautiful,
the Stussy
though.
stuff is cool too. Yeah, the Stussy stuff is cool too.
So you can check this out at KROQ on socials if you are driving around right now, but I'm holding it up to the cameras. But this is really... this is awesome. And it's very rare. I mean, you can't even is this you got to go on some second hand website like Grail?
We're not into the, we want the people to be able to get the stuff. But if people end up buying the stuff really quickly, there's not much that we can do.
You got this problem with clothes. You got this problem with concerts, Bakar. This is a common issue in the world of Bakar right now. The demand is very, very high. Yes. Dude, thank you so much. This was such a joy to have you here in studio. Thank you for only cussing twice. Thank you for having me. I didn't even notice it, and I'm super glad to be up here, and I hope to be back soon. Honestly, absolutely. You've been great to talk to. You made it easy for me. Likewise, Bakar, everybody.